We are weeks away from Apple's next event, and while we usually expect more leaks around this time, we don't expect the leaker to be Apple themselves, but that's basically what happened, because Apple just gave us a huge list of the products that they are set to announce, and even kindly included some video evidence. So for this video, I want to talk about all the products that Apple is set to release from September through December, maybe even a little bit of January. And these are all new reports, rumors, and some recent leaks. I'm not gonna regurgitate some older video, and this should all be pretty new stuff, and I'm gonna respect your time. So let's start with the new iPhone rumors. Actually, before we jump into that, even though I sourced a lot of different renders for this video, I gotta give a particular shout out to Asher Dips and everyone who worked on his Apple event video. This is so well done. It's like an Apple event before the official Apple event, announcing all the products, and it looks so official, down to the presentations and especially the renders. This is so well done. So even if you want to click off this video and go watch it, I don't blame you. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, and I'll leave a link down to all the different concepts and renders I sourced for this video. And for the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max, there may be more differences this year than usual, because while the 17 Pro and Pro Max were pretty much the same phone, except for the screen size and the better battery life and carrying around a giant brick in your pocket with the Pro Max, well, it looks like having a giant brick in your pocket might be beneficial with the 18 Pro Max, because it is supposed to be getting some exclusive camera features this year with the variable aperture lens. This is a feature I and many others have talked about before, where you will be able to manually control your iPhone's camera aperture to let in less or more light, which will let you fine-tune exposure and depth of field in your photos and videos. A lot of recent reports seem to indicate that this feature is coming to both phones, but recent leaks seem to indicate that it's only coming to the Pro Max. Now, maybe Apple needs more space in the phone to include this feature, and the Pro Max is rumored to be thicker and heavier this year, while the 18 Pro, well, it's actually rumored to stay the same size. Actually, there's some recent case leaks suggesting that the 18 Pro cases will also fit the 17 Pro because they share the same dimensions. Of course, this could also be a cost-cutting measure. It's highly likely that the price of the iPhone 18 Pro series is going up this year, and Apple may be omitting some of the newer features on the smaller Pro model to help offset some of those price increases, which I guess we'll find out soon enough when we see what the price difference increase is for the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max this year, and if there is a bigger price difference than usual besides the $100. Could be $150. $200. Oh, duh, please no. As for the foldable iPhone Ultra, well, it looks like the leak design is pretty much finalized. We are now seeing screen protector and literal case leaks for this phone. So it looks like it will have that new form factor with the 4:3 aspect ratio and look pretty similar to the Galaxy Z Fold 8, although the design will be a bit more rounded and include rounded display corners, so there will be some differentiation there. Now, the big story with the iPhone Ultra is availability. This is going to be extremely limited at launch, but it appears that right now Apple is on track to start shipping these phones in September. Now, they may be hard to get, but yes, as things stand right now, weeks before the event, the current rumors seem to be leaning towards a September launch and not a delayed launch like some analysts were predicting in the last few months, which I am hopeful for. I do not want to wait until November to get my hands on this phone. Of course, alongside these new phones will be Apple showing off the new Apple Watch Series 12 and Apple Watch Ultra 4. Now, the main rumored upgrade for these new watches is a faster S12 chip, which, hear me out, it's going to be important this year because it's going to highlight the new feature in watchOS, and that is the new and improved Siri. Because after using my current Apple Watch on watchOS 27's beta, yeah, the Siri responses are very slow. So a speed upgrade on the Series 12 and the Ultra 4 is very welcome, at least from my standpoint. Another new feature coming to this watch could be a new health feature where the Apple Watch will be able to notify the user if they have high blood pressure. Finally, the Series 12 may bring back the ceramic finish, which was discontinued all the way back on the Apple Watch Series 5. Personally, I have never owned the ceramic version of the Apple Watch because they were just too expensive for me to consider at the time, but I really did like the look of it, and I hope that Apple can bring this material back and hopefully price it a little bit lower. Highly unlikely considering they're raising their prices, but hey, maybe it'll be the same price and that'll make us happy. Just don't raise it. Now, iPhones, Apple Watches, I mean, every year, right? They're always there at the September event, so they're all but confirmed. But with how many products Apple is planning to release before the end of this year, it is pretty obvious to me that they are going to have to split their attention into multiple events. And after this iPhone Focus event, I believe Apple will hold a second event in October or maybe November where we will see new Macs. And you know, I'm usually more excited for Mac Focus events. I love my Mac, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a little disorganized, and my Mac is definitely a reflection of that. I have a cluttered desktop, files not properly placed in folders, and way too many emails. So recently, I've been using NA, a productive AI assistant that is actually designed to fix scattered work. And one of the things I really find hard is actually just starting my workday. I have so many different tasks that I could be working on, and it's really hard to focus on the right ones. But with NA, I can ask it to start my day or even review my week, and NA will then scan my calendar, my emails, my reminders, and then surface a helpful brief of all the tasks that are urgent for that day or that week or that month. But NA goes beyond that. It also is a way to easily manage your Mac. So one thing I struggle with is that messy desktop. I usually just save everything to my desktop or downloads folder, but with NA, I can just ask it to organize my desktop, and it will then help me choose how I want to organize it to better suit my current workflow. And yes, I'm constantly researching video topics, so I have a lot of browser tabs open all the time, so many that I've filled up my 128 gigabytes of memory on my Mac, and I'm not proud of that. But with NA, I can also easily manage these tabs and instruct it to close certain tabs in bulk. And no matter what your workflow is, there's so many different skills to help manage your Mac, and there's no complex setup. Honestly, it feels refreshing to have an AI tool that is focused on helping you be productive and creative, not the other way around. And you don't have to take my word for it, because you can just try it for free to see if it works for you. So check out the link in the description to check NA for free, and thank you to MacPaw for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's talk about those Macs. Now, interestingly enough, in the macOS 27 beta, there are references to multiple MacBook Pro models coming, including a new M5 and a new M6 version. Now, the M5 versions are likely referring to the big redesign that is coming to the MacBook Pro. This would be a MacBook Pro with a thinner and lighter body with 14.3 and 16.3 inch OLED displays with a dynamic island, and for the first time ever on a Mac, a touchscreen. I've talked about this Mac before in depth in a recent video. I'm not gonna bore you here, but this is the product I am the most excited for this year because I have been wanting an OLED display on my Mac for a really long time, and I'm just so curious to see how Apple plans to implement a touchscreen on the Mac after resisting and, quite frankly, bashing this feature for so long. Also, it's rumored to be the first cellular-capable Mac, and that is a feature I have been requesting for years. Now, yes, Apple also has plans to not only introduce this new M5 MacBook Pro with an M5 Pro and M5 Max chip, but they also have a MacBook Pro coming with an M6 chip by the end of this year. Now, this update is less exciting because it's rumored to be a spec bump upgrade, and it won't have the new redesign, and it won't have the new OLED display. So I feel like the M6 model is going to be a little confusing. Finally, the other Mac that should receive an update by the end of this year is, there's no way you're going to guess it. Oh, you did? Hey, good on you, Steve. Yes, it's the new iMac. It's going to be a pretty modest update, moving from an M4 chip to an M5 chip, which obviously we've already seen in products like the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. And the only other rumored update for this is that it's going to receive a refresh to its color options. So not an exciting update for the iMac, but if you're in the market for one, which is me and Steve and like 3 other people, well, it's good to know that Apple hasn't given up on the computer that saved them, right? And they even have plans for an OLED iMac down the road. But it's not coming out by the end of this year. We'll have to wait quite a bit longer for that one. I just realized I called the guy Steve, and people are going to think I'm referencing Steve Jobs. That was just a random name I thought up. So I'm just talking to random Steve, not Mr. Jobs. I can't commune with the dead. Now, luckily, we won't have to wait too much longer for the new iPad mini, which is rumored to come with, yes, finally, an OLED display. I feel like I'm talking about OLED displays a lot here. Now, one of the reasons for this is probably because the iPhone Ultra is also coming out, which is going to unfold into like an iPad mini form factor. And if Apple releases that and they have that LCD iPad mini right next to it, it's going to look very dated. The iPad mini is going to look very, very dated. Now, the iPad mini's OLED display is rumored to also be getting a little bit bigger. It's going to be an 8.7-inch display. It's also going to have a new A20 Pro chip and new vibration-based speaker technology, which will allow the iPad mini to be dust and water resistant by removing those speaker grills. And it would make it the first iPad ever to receive a water-resistant certification. And with the new OLED display, it might receive a price bump. Although smaller OLED displays are typically cheaper to manufacture, and it's actually not rumored to be using a tandem OLED display. So with Apple already hiking the price on the Mini earlier this year, hopefully it just stays around that $600 price point. Yeah, $600 for an iPad Mini. That's the world we're living in, folks. Now, these new Macs and even this new iPad Mini are more likely to be at Apple's October or November event, because the September event is already jam-packed, and that's where these next products come in. Yeah, there's more. There's a bunch of wild cards that I think could be at either event, depending on how Apple wants to space them out. So I'm just putting them at the end here. I think they could be at September or the October event. Because this giant leak out of the macOS 27 beta also referenced a new Apple TV 4K, which should include a faster A17 Pro processor with more RAM that is capable of running the new Siri. Actually, I think like the Apple TV is like one of the only products that doesn't run the new Siri right now. I guess the HomePods too. We'll talk about that in a second. And it should have Apple's new N1 networking chip, which would give this device Wi-Fi 7, which I think is pretty important for a streaming box. On top of that, this may be a bigger update than initially thought, because the macOS 27 beta code even references a new Siri remote. This could be a slight revision to the current remote or a bigger revamp altogether. Maybe it'll have like a screen. Speaking of updates to Siri, there's also references to a new HomePod Mini and a full-size HomePod, which would probably be updated with the new S12 chip that is coming on the new Apple Watches. And this is important, obviously, because the older HomePods use much older Apple Watch chips that are not supported for the new Siri AI features. So it is essential for Apple to ship new HomePods with more powerful chips to start rolling out the new Siri in their smart home products. Now, the HomePod Mini colors are also referenced in this leak, with rose pink, silver, space gray, and Starlight being the new colors for this release. And there's another addition coming to the HomePod family, a brand new smart display, which is also referenced in this leak. This would be Apple's Home Hub, or the iHome. No, HomePad. Yeah, HomePad. That works, right? People used to say, hey, baby, let's go to my pad. I think at one point in history, people used to say that. Anyway, this would be a HomePod with a 7-inch screen, and according to the recent leaks, it will run HomeOS, which runs a framework called like PosterKit, and this would basically be, it's widgets. Yeah, the widgets that are on the iPhone and the iPad. On the HomePad, you'll have a screen where you'll be able to customize it with different widgets. So you can have a clock, weather, calendar, and music widget, and all the other widgets that are probably on the iPhone. And then tapping those widgets will, of course, expand their view, I guess, into like a full-size app. But it's weird because the home screen is rumored not to have traditional app icons. So it's going to be like a widget-based home screen only. Of course, like the HomePods, the big feature for this is Siri. Now, obviously, Siri is going to be a lot more visual on a device with a display, but yeah, you'll be able to ask all the Siri questions, play music, podcasts, I guess even like TV shows now, and so on, right? Siri should be a lot smarter with the new HomePods and this new HomePad. It's a smart speaker with a screen. It's not a revolutionary concept. It's been done by Google, it's been done by Amazon, and now we're getting Apple's version. But hey, if it's a good product, that's good, right? Like a new smarter Siri, a HomePod with a screen tied into Apple's ecosystem, that could be a very compelling product. Now, I think the biggest surprise out of these recent leaks from Apple was Apple accidentally including a video file in the new macOS 27 beta where they showed the new AirPods Pro with a camera, or as some people are calling them, AirPods Ultra. And yeah, this is a huge leak. Like, this video literally demonstrates how you'll be able to use visual intelligence on these new AirPods Pro to remind you of things you saw, and I assume it will include most of the visual intelligence features that are on the iPhone. So you'll be able to identify objects, read text, get business details. You'll be able to recognize like landmarks or objects. Maybe it can even do translation and so on, right? There's a lot of visual intelligence features. The AirPods with the camera should have all of them. Now, personally, I'm really not sure how helpful cameras in AirPods will be, especially when the cameras themselves won't be able to be used for recording videos or taking photos. Like, that camera is literally supposed to be used just for that visual intelligence feature. So if you aren't using that on your phone right now, I doubt it will suddenly become a lot more useful on a pair of AirPods, but hey, I'm not gonna fully judge a product before it's out, so I will be happy to be proven wrong, and I'm excited to check them out when they do come out. Now, unfortunately, we will not see these at Apple's September event, according to Mark Gurman. Apple is instead targeting an early 2027 launch, so it's strange to see such a concrete leak this early, especially a full-blown product demonstration video, but Gurman has good sources. I am not going to doubt him on this one. I've doubted him rarely, but usually he's right. But yes, those are all the new rumored Apple products that are going to be at Apple September, October, basically everything they are going to announce starting in just a few weeks at these events. So if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll update you when we get the event details, which could actually happen as soon as next week. That's kind of crazy. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful, informative. Maybe you laughed. I don't know. If you did, you got a bad sense of humor. All right, I'll see you in the next one.